Welcome back to the channel. I've been having a little bit of trouble trying to get out the things that I feel like saying or things that I want to teach people. If I'm having a conversation with somebody and it's different, it just comes naturally. But if I'm just talking to a computer screen, I seem to be struggling with it a little bit. But I'm also realizing that just because I have the knowledge doesn't mean that I'm in the right frame of mind to speak on it. I have to wait till something comes to me naturally. I can't force it. And one of the things that I was thinking about for the better part of last night and, well, almost all day yesterday, if I'm being honest, is fear. Being afraid to act, letting my fears dictate what it is that I hold myself back from. It's not that fear doesn't have a purpose. It does to an extent. But the problems start when you let that fear control you. And I think we all run into that from time to time. The thing is, regardless of what it is you're afraid of, whether it's you're afraid of screwing something up or you're afraid of saying too much, you're afraid of not doing enough, it all is the same at the end of the day. You hear those phrases all the time of the small things like you won't know until you try and stuff like that, and they're true. It does hold truth, right? I'd venture to say that the biggest injustice you can do for yourself is not going after the things that you want to go for. It's not standing up for what you believe and not speaking the truth because you're afraid of the repercussions. There's a friend that I've been extremely interested in, and we spoke very briefly. And then for one reason or another, he just stopped talking to me, pulled away. And even if it would only ever be a friendship, I still wanted to get to know him. I still wanted to explore the possibilities. If it's gonna sink, I wanted it to sink on its own, not being forced to fail out of fear. But I'm at a crossroads now where I've tried reaching out. I've tried being as honest and open as I possibly can. That's not to say that I'm not afraid either. I'm not afraid that I am. I'm afraid that if I say anything, it's just going to push them away completely. And then I will have fucked up possibly a great friendship. But then by sitting by and doing absolutely nothing, nothing's moving, nothing happens. It's possible that by me opening up and by me pushing this along, it will backfire. That's a possibility. But it's also a possibility that by not doing anything and by not saying anything, it will fail on its own because we're both afraid. Trying to find the balance between allowing that fear to stop me from doing things abruptly or impulsively. I think that's the purpose of fear, is to hold you back from the impulses you want to do, but you're not sure of. So having that fear kind of hold you back for a little bit is fine. It will give you time to step away and it will give you time to think about what it is you actually want to do and what you actually want. But if you get stuck thinking about the fear for too long, then now you're afraid of nothing. Now you're petrified. You're sitting in place, not doing anything. So I think that fear has its uses. I think it'd be stupid to not have fear. I don't think we would last very long as a human race if none of us had fear. But learning when it's time to face that fear and take that chance, I think that's what it comes down to. We can sit there all day long and think about the what ifs, and what could go wrong. And I mean, things do go wrong. I've rarely, as much meticulous planning as I've done with my work, I've rarely had anything when it came to my job go exactly as I planned. Something always happens, something completely unexpected. Equipment that's never malfunctioned before just starts malfunctioning. It happens. And of course, I run the risk of getting hurt. Sure, everybody does. Every person you interact with, you run that risk. You have that chance of somebody hurting you. But I think that's what I need to get better at, right? I need to accept the fact that I know I'm going to get hurt. And whether it's intentional or unintentional, whether somebody hurts me out of their own fears, that indirectly, whether that indirectly puts me through pain or not, it's still worth a chance. It's still worth exploring. It's still worth overcoming. For those 32 years that I stayed quiet and I stayed closed off and I pushed everybody away, the main driving factor to that decision was I was afraid of getting hurt. I was afraid of being let down, being lied to, being stabbed in the back. And I feel like I missed out on so much. I mean, nobody wants to get hurt. Nobody wants to be lied to. Nobody wants to be cheated on. Nobody wants any of that. But you're never going to, there's no guarantee that that's what's going to happen. You're never going to find the people worth keeping in your life if you stay afraid and you push everybody away. You're going to look right past them and you'll never know. So sometimes you have to take that chance. Sometimes you have to really look at things and figure out what is worth getting hurt to you. Who is worth getting hurt to you? It's hard to figure out because at the beginning of any type of relationship, friendship or otherwise, well, you don't know that answer. Whether it be intuition guiding you or whether it be just somebody's overall, feeling, the feeling you get from them, you have no idea until you start to explore, until you start to talk to them, figure out who they are as a person, what they are as a person, how they view things, how they think. Those are the types of things that determine somebody's overall worth to you, I would venture to say. I mean, I've got plenty of friends who don't see eye to eye on me on a lot of different things, and that's fine. I still consider them friends. I've also had a lot of friends who have said some pretty ignorant things that, yeah, they definitely lost some rankings in my book. I don't care to talk to them nearly as much. I'll still talk to them if they needed it, but it's not like I'm going out of my way to talk to them anymore. And I mean, that's part of it, though. We're always okay to disagree. That's one thing that seems to have gotten lost over the years. Is everybody feels like you have to either agree with what they say and think, or they don't want you. That's not healthy either. If you don't have opposing viewpoints to challenge your beliefs, then you don't believe in them very well. If you can't defend your beliefs against somebody else's views, do you really believe it? Or are you just saying that because, somebody or somebody you respect thinks that way or says that thing? I don't think that we are supposed to know everything. We don't. We never will. I don't care how smart you are. It could be Einstein. He did not know everything, and I think he knew that. We learn about the things that interest us. If we're not interested in it, then we don't care to learn it. Simple as that. So you will find people who challenge you, and that's okay. And even if it's something more severe, like getting stabbed in the back or somebody trying to manipulate you or somebody lying straight to your face so that they can get whatever it is that they want, I mean, that's just a risk you're going to have to take. There's no point in staying in a bubble in your own mind, blocking out every single person that tries to come into your life, because at the end of the day, 32 years later, you're going to look back and you're going to think like, damn, I let a lot of good people walk away from me because I was afraid, because I was scared, because I didn't want to get hurt, because I've been hurt so many times in my life. I didn't want to risk it. But you take that risk with everything. You just don't even see it. You don't realize it. It's a 4-hour drive down to my job site where I usually stay in a hotel every week. And then I drive back home every weekend. And in that 4 hours, at any point in time, somebody could fall asleep behind the wheel and slam me into a wall. Somebody could not check their blind spots and run me off the road. There's a lot of stuff that could go wrong. A sinkhole could open up while I'm traveling 80 miles per hour right under me. I don't know. But I can't just stay home and be afraid of what could happen. The only reason most people don't think of it like that is because essentially we're all forced to go to work, right? You have to make a living, you need to make money, so you're kind of forced to do it whether you want to or not. And nobody forces you to go out and socialize and make friends. Nor should you have to, right? If you truly do not want friends, you truly want to be alone, go for it. That's what I did. I'm just telling you now, I definitely have some regrets. I wish that I saw things a little differently back then than how I do now. I feel like I wasted a lot of time letting my mind run through the fears and the what ifs and what could go wrong and how nothing ever worked out before, so it's not going to. And I don't know that. You don't know that. Nobody knows that. Nobody can see the future. And we're not living in the future. We're not living in the past. Just because somebody hurt you in the past before does not mean that everybody in the future that comes into your life is going to hurt you. You just need to find the people who are worth taking that risk for. When I was trying to reach out to this friend of mine that I spoke about, I'm not gonna lie, I was scared shitless as I was reading everything that I was putting down. I had already gone through my head several times over at this point, though, as to whether or not I should or shouldn't. Should I send it? Should I delete it? Should I leave it alone? Should I push it? But the deciding factor for me every time that I have reached out to him is I don't want any regrets. I would rather push for what it is that I want and try and be his friend because I see him as a very valuable friend. I would rather push for that and have him delete me, block me, avoid me. And then that way I at least know that I tried. I did everything that I could have done and it just wasn't enough. It didn't pan out. And that's what I've been starting to do. I don't know how this friendship is going to go. I can't tell if he's going to block me, delete me. I have no clue. I know that he read what I sent and he hasn't responded. There's nothing I can do about that. I also know that if absolutely nothing changes whatsoever after he read that and it goes back to exactly how it was, then I'm going to have no choice but to let it go and move on. It is what it is. But I'd rather take that chance and I'd rather take that risk of getting hurt than to sit here and do absolutely nothing. Because some people I think are worth fighting for. I've been wrong before, but I'm not going to let that hold me back. If I think somebody's worth it, if I feel like somebody might be worth it and they're just in a bad place, they're stuck in their mind or whatever the case, it's also possible that me pushing forward will do them more harm than good. But by not saying anything at all, I'm doing myself more harm than good. Fear has a purpose, but if you let it hold you back for the rest of your life, you're going to look back 32 years from now and you're going to have a lot of regrets. And I don't want to live with regrets anymore. I won't. I refuse. I'll let the fear serve its purpose and prevent me from lashing out or acting out. I'll step aside and put more time into things and try and think about what it is that I really want to do, what I really want to say. And then once I get to that point where it's been long enough, I can't, I start losing sleep over it. Then I got to overstep those fears and I got to take action for better or for worse. Because movement in either direction, for better or for worse, is better than no movement at all. If something's going to fail, I'm not going to say it should fail early on, but the sooner it fails, the better. And I'm not trying to sabotage things either. I'm trying to be patient. I'm trying to give things time. But the second that I start losing sleep over it, that's when it becomes an issue. I refuse to live my life with any more regrets. I've had enough regrets in my life. I just needed to figure that out. Life is interesting sometimes. But I think that's where I'm going to leave this one. Until next time, stay safe, friends.